Hi everyone, it's Mirela Ciobanu, lead editor with The Papers, and we are live at Money 2020 and standing in front of Stripe's booth, where we are going to talk with Neetika Bansal, head of Money as a Service at Stripe, and we are going to talk about Web3 payments, stablecoins, and Stripe's foray into the space. Stay tuned. How does Stripe launch a wide range of innovative payment products? And what big pain points that consumers, SMEs or large enterprise face today and Stripe is helping them?
So broadly, Stripe's always been very users first. So the idea is that we're looking at the kind of use cases that businesses of all sizes that work with us are coming up with, and we try to go solve them. And so one of the core use cases that we've been focused on for almost a decade at this point is enabling cross-border money movement. And if you look at large enterprises that need to operate globally, to entrepreneurs in countries where Stripe wasn't even available, it's just the number of use cases that we can unlock for them with stablecoins is quite powerful. And so the way we approach this is look at the use cases and then try to build the product that can go support that.
Can you give some examples of what are these use cases?
Yeah, so I can outline maybe 4 specific use cases which we think stablecoins can solve for. So number 1 is managing pay-ins. So imagine AI companies that have to be global from day one. You know, they're selling digital goods and they have buyers worldwide. And so companies like this can now use stablecoins to accept payments from their buyers. And we're seeing companies like Hydra, Shadeform, Text.com accept almost 6-figure invoices from their end users. And we're also seeing that companies that accept stablecoin pay-ins are selling into almost 2x the number of countries than the ones that are not. And these companies are also seeing almost 3 times the average order value than the companies that are not. So accepting stablecoin pay-ins is a very big use case. The second one is stablecoin payouts. So think about companies that have any sort of global operations. So we talked about remote.com earlier, and remote.com is a global HR provider, and they're using stablecoins to pay out their contractors and their vendors in 70 plus countries with Stripe. The next one is Scale AI. It's a US company. Again, it operates in many geographies and it's using stablecoins to pay out its vendors and contractors. The third use case is managing your global treasury. So think about a company like SpaceX. Now, SpaceX sells Starlink in many different geographies. And if they're selling in Argentina, they're collecting local currency in Argentina, and they're using stablecoins with Bridge to move that money back into USD and bring it to the US. The last use case is enabling access to global commerce to entrepreneurs worldwide. So we launched our stablecoin financial accounts product in 101 geographies. And entrepreneurs and businesses in these countries can now get access to a dollar-denominated account. They can move money into this account via either crypto rails or fiat rails. And then they can also use this account to spend that money worldwide. And that's pretty powerful for these entrepreneurs because now they have access to the global financial system.
Since you mentioned the global commerce, and I think that recently you have also announced working in this agentic AI use in e-commerce. Can you tell us something about this area of stablecoins, agentic AI?
Agentic commerce would definitely change the patterns of commerce and how commerce is done on the internet. And so Stripe launched an agentic toolkit, and we're seeing thousands of businesses download this every month. And for example, 11 Labs is a voice generation AI company, and they're using our toolkit to help their agent with customer support. So we're seeing just like very huge adoption of AI services worldwide. The second one I would mention here is that we are working with companies like Perplexity, and Perplexity is using basically they're building a new way of commerce where you can go in the Perplexity engine, you can search for a hotel that you want to book. It will show you the hotel options based on your choice, and then you can check out the hotel from the very interface of Perplexity. So now you can imagine that in the future, stablecoins could almost become this the way that bots can pay on the internet. And they have all the properties that you would desire, which is like they could support really small transactions. They are instant, they're cheap, they are available 24/7. You don't have to wait for the bank to be open. So their characteristics make them basically internet money.
The benefits are quite clear from what you are saying, and also you mentioned about stable coins, agentic AI. I don't know, maybe not all companies are familiar with all these concepts. What advice would you give to these companies to join this movement, or what should they do if they want to offer all these payment options to their clients? Where should they start?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think my first thing would be that now is not the time to ignore it, because we've described them as twin revolutions, and stablecoins and AI is happening together at the same time. So my one advice to companies is to not ignore it, right? And I think the second thing I would have is that we try to meet our companies where they're at. We try to meet businesses where they're at. And so our hypothesis here is that we want eventually the businesses to not have to think about that they're using stable coins in the background. We want companies to focus on growing their businesses worldwide, growing their businesses globally, get more access to buyers and sellers in every geography. And we want them to be able to do it seamlessly with just a single API on Stripe without having to really worry about whether it's stable coins in the background or not.
So this idea of a seamless transaction, I think it's in a way powered by your partnership with Bridge, right? Can you tell us more about this partnership and the vision behind this project and how it aims to solve existing challenges in digital payments?
Yeah, so we acquired Bridge end of last year. And one of the reasons we ended up doing that was Bridge was building stablecoin infrastructure and was one of the most experienced teams building that. And their mission was to simplify global money movement. And the thing that really excited us was that they were seeing real world use cases of this infrastructure. So there are companies that we've talked about, like the SpaceXs of the world, using this infrastructure for real world serious use cases. And I thought that was extremely exciting because we could use this technology. And in the last decade of building money movement infrastructure on Stripe, we know that we can power our financial services by using Bridge's technology and make them global and programmable from day one. So one example I could give to you is that Stripe's been building card issuing for the past almost 4 or 5 years. And now using Bridge and Visa powered card, we can enable businesses with a single integration to give cards to businesses and consumers in dozens of countries. And so just the expansion, the speed of expansion of our financial services has increased so much more because now we're using Bridge technology.
And since we mentioned about partnerships and different players, and we are here at Money 2020, what are your impressions so far?
Every conversation that I'm having is about AI or about stablecoins. And so the excitement feels real. There's a lot of just genuine curiosity about how can companies start to use this technology, what impact can it have on their business. And I'm honestly really excited for the future because I think there's a lot of building to happen.